Welcome back once again guys, my name's Gotcake and this is Star Wars Shovelware. So today we're going to be taking a look at a game called It's Raining Fists and Metal. Due to the long title I'm just going to refer to it as RFAM for the rest of the video. So RFAM's been out on Steam since the 20th of December of last year and it was recently released a few days ago on the 20th of January for the Nintendo Switch. On paper, RFAM's a frantic platform brawler crossed with a rhythm game. If Super Smash Bros had a baby with Guitar Hero and dropped it out with an 8-bit vagina, it would probably come out looking something like RFAM. Gameplay is focused on performing attack, blocks and moshing in time with the music, and like Guitar Hero, you're rated on how in sync with the music your button presses are. If you perform these perfectly in time with the notes, you'll get a perfect rating. If you're a little off, you'll get a good rating, and if you're out of timing, you'll get a miss rating. So the main game has two modes. The first one is concert mode, which allows you to pick a character and pick its clothes and guitar skin. I decided to pick Steppen Joe. From what I can gather, the choice is merely aesthetics and there's no difference between the characters in terms of strength. Since this was my first time playing, I decided to kick off things with a tutorial. This allows you to practice your timings against a metronome computer while watching the notes move across the top of the screen. The tutorial also introduces you to power-up items in the form of different instruments which are occasionally dropped throughout the battle. These can be picked up with the block button and you can perform different types of attack using these instruments. The first of these is the keytar. Yep, that's what it's called. If you don't believe me, Google it. And this fires laser beams. The speaker is another instrument that you can pick up and it blasts out sound waves. And the vinyl sleeve throws vinyls. There's also other power-ups such as beer, which puts you out if you're on fire, and a shiny thing which I never actually found out a use for. So after 5 minutes of practice, I can proudly say I was able to master the tutorial and hit perfect attack and block notes most of the time. This is going to be easy, I thought. Oh, how wrong I was. So after the success with the tutorial, I decided it was time to move on to the real thing, and I dashed out the tutorial room straight into the back of the van, signposted game, ready to jump into a concert mode battle. However, the flashing notification informed me that I had to either add a CPU or player, and since I don't have any real friends, of course I opted for some AI bots. 3 of them, because why not? I was then able to select a stage and a song as well as the bot difficulty, which I left on normal. And then into the fight I went. The announcer counted us in and then the battle began. It was at this point that I completely lost track of my location. My fingers decided to do their own thing and I had my ass handed to me by the computer. 5 minutes later and the stats sheet informed me that I'd got 1 kill, 15 deaths and played 39% of the notes. Now I figured this could have been down to several things. Firstly, it could either have been the music track I chose. For all I know, I'd picked this game's equivalent of Through the Fire and the Flames. Secondly, it could have been the stage, since I swear that middle pit equated for at least half of my deaths. Or thirdly, I just sucks and I got smashed up by 3 normal difficulty bots. I decided to hastily retreat back to the main menu and try out the game's second mode, Adventure. In this mode I got to choose between 2 characters and picked Michael Stoner. After a brief exchange of words between Michael and someone called Epic Nico, the battle ensued and I promptly lost. However, I did forget to hit record, so we've got no footage of that and thus no proof that it actually ever happened. I did however record my second battle, which after 5 minutes of button mashing I actually managed to win 4 kills to 3. Getting the hang of this I thought, but again, I was wrong. Continuing Michael Stoner's adventure, I began my second battle to the music track Amsterdam HD and I thought initially I had the upper hand. I was swiftly destroyed by Lady Metal. However, unperturbed, I tried again. And again. And again. And I lost every battle. I did however learn a few things from each battle. Firstly, every so often a stage drops down and if you manage to get on the stage and rock out to the music, you'll build up a power meter. This can be seen at the bottom of the screen. Once it's full you can hit L and R to launch a special attack, which sees you hitting the correct D-pad buttons in order to damage your opponent. Hit enough and you'll kill them. Secondly, grabbing power-ups gives you a huge advantage. The standard guitar attack is pretty atrocious, and being able to hit your opponent from a distance can often result in you knocking them off the edge for a free kill. And thirdly, I never did work out what the shiny thing or the beer actually did. Being on fire didn't seem to make a difference, I still got hammered. Sick of the sight of Michael, I switched to Lady Metal in the hopes that I could at least beat her first adventure, but after several attempts I once again failed. By now I was getting pretty furious, and just as I was about to rage quit, I pressed the pause button and found sync error settings. I changed it around a bit. Did it help? Did it balls? Since there was no timer indicating other than the notes moving across the top of the screen to test how in sync I wasn't actually able to check my timings due to the enemy player constantly smashing my face in with his guitar. I had no way of syncing my button presses to the correct sync error settings. I did however remember that there was one place that had no enemies to bother me and that had a perfectly timed metronome sound with which to sync to. That's right, I decided to head back to where I've had more success, the tutorial. When I got there I found out that I couldn't actually pause the game and so couldn't check whether I was synced correctly. So after a couple of hours of playing and failing, I'll try and consolidate the good and the bad aspects of It's Raining Fists and Metal. To start with, the music isn't all that bad. It's pretty well composed chiptune style rock music, although some tunes are better than others and the more heavy tunes do start to get a little irritating after a while, especially considering some of them are over 5 minutes long. I haven't been able to listen to every song simply due to the fact that I haven't had enough patience to learn the note pattern out of either of the first character's adventure levels. The graphics are alright, they've gone for an 8-bit look with some modern particle effects and a strange static noise effect overlaying the screen. Another positive is it's different. If nothing else, I can praise the developer for trying to do something different and think outside the box. Sometimes this works. Crypt of the Necrodancer is a perfect example of a game that successfully blends rhythm and action genres, but in the case of RFAM, it just doesn't work enough to make the game fun. I think the main reason is due to the genre of the games that they've tried to combine. Rhythm games like DDR and Guitar Hero take a lot of concentration in order to get good at the game. You need to learn the songs, you need to get the timing down to hit the perfect notes. Games like Super Smash Bros are all about hectic brawling, jumping around the screen, grabbing power-ups and making last-ditch jumps to get back into the playfield. With RFAD I found myself watching the notes scrolling at the top of the screen more than anything in order to try and play with the music. This left me just standing on the spot swinging away at the AI, who had more often than not just jumped over me. And then if I moved my attention back to the brawling and tried to listen to the music, I ended up missing with every swing I took due to the notes being staggered in different ways to match up with different instruments in the song. I also found that even when I actually managed to pull off some good hits, that I'd be holding my direction button towards the opponent, and when I actually managed to knock them off the edge of the screen, I'd end up just running off the edge with them before I managed to move my eyes from the notes back to my character. And this is my main gripe with the game, it's asking you to focus on two distinct gameplay mechanics at the same time. It results in both you and your opponent just standing still swinging attacks at each other. I did also try to use the block button, but it didn't seem to matter whether I attacked or blocked, and I don't think I ever managed to use the mosh button. The fact that the AI control player didn't get a split his attention between keeping a rhythm and beating my ass meant that it was always going to have the upper hand. He was able to persistently hit the notes, while I spent half my time guessing when the floating notes at the top of the screen didn't have my full attention. I can see what the developer was trying to do by mixing the genres, but for a rain, I'm going to give It's Raining Fists and Metal 1 star. In my opinion, it narrowly avoids being shovelware. The only thing keeping it from this is because with enough beers, I'm sure there's some fun to be had with multiple human players when everyone's just as useless as everyone else. But as a single player game, RFAM just doesn't quite work. The game was developed by Corvo Studio, and on the website the only listed employee is the company founder, Marco Amadei. I don't know whether he's the only person who developed this or if the studio's got a few employees, but I still like to give him credit for trying something new. The game's currently available on both the Nintendo Switch eStore and Steam for £5.99, so if you think this game's for you, or just fancy a bit of a rage fix, or wanting to support an indie developer, go give it a try. If you already played it and want to give me some tips, then post some down in the comments below. Other than that guys, thanks once again for watching. Hit the like button if you enjoyed my rantings, subscribe for future videos, and until next time, game on.